is an important announcement.
Hi everyone, Recording Angel back again. I don't know why I keep doing this. It's like I feel compelled to keep on making these stories, try to cover these topics, but when YouTube is going to shut me down again at some point, you'll know the reason. The mainstream, as time goes by, the mainstream is going to keep on pushing the envelope. We're going to see some more stories unfold, like take for example, there was a woman in Orange County who left the faith. She was a pastor, a woman pastor, and then she left the faith to pursue a career as a stripper. Yes, you've heard right. And why people are doing this these days, why are they getting themselves into questionable situations or making wrong choices. I guess it normally wouldn't concern me, but this was someone in the faith, and when you leave the faith, and pursue something like that, going in the total opposite direction, I read the comments. I read the comments section. People are saying, "Oh, that's the price you pay for leaving God, $100K a year." And it made me think. It made me think a lot about it. I just wanted to share. I'm not a preacher. I just want to share this video and let you write down whatever you feel led to write down in the comments section down below. And yeah, this video, this video really baffled me. I don't usually find these types of videos. They find me. Okay? They find me. And that's why I feel led to come back and try to report on this. So, without further ado, I'll just play the clip. And, yeah. Like, share, whatever you want down below. I don't care. Yeah. The following video clip shows imagery that may be sexual in nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
I've gone from being a pastor in my local church
Satan is there whispering doubts in our minds
to becoming a successful adult model. A few years ago, we were broke. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't know my purpose, but then I had my awakening, shifted, and I've become who I was always meant to be. I've transformed my life in some pretty shocking ways.
If you could go back in time and make different decisions, would you do that?
Man, that's a good question. God, I have to warm up a minute. Let's see. I was raised in a very conservative religious environment. This messaging was, when you become a wife and a mother, you've reached the pinnacle of womanhood. And I tried to become that woman for most of my life. Decided I want to be a preacher and a pastor. I want to tend to my flock and help people and bring people together. The church where I rose up as a pastor is a mega church. It's a huge community. There's thousands of people. Standing on stage in the spotlight, thousands of eyes on you was like a dream come true for me.
You guys are a rowdy bunch in here. I love it.
When I was a pastor, I still was ascribing to the belief that I am responsible for how men view me. I would spend so much time over my outfit. Like, don't wear too tight of jeans. And I remember thinking, oh, I probably shouldn't wear high heels because that can be seen as like provocative or a little more sexy. And that was just a lifetime of training. Shaming women, body shame, sex shame, victim shaming. You always need to live in fear.
It's important to remember why we need God.
It was so toxic. It was so controlling. It was so unhealthy.
Why God is everything we hunger for.
But then I had my awakening.
Maybe we're afraid that if people knew who we really were, they would reject us.
I realized my queerness and I kept it closeted.
God loves us and there's nothing that can separate us from God's love.
I felt terrifyingly alone.
The longer we keep these fears and these doubts and these questions to ourselves, the more we have to pretend.
Even though this church was the most open-minded and progressive church I'd ever been part of, sex or even sexuality was still one of those topics that was not talked about. There was this pressure to fit within the mold, and as a queer woman in a very straight, male-dominant church, I was afraid that I was too much and I would get in trouble. I knew if I owned my queerness fully, I would likely lose my job at my church. And eventually got to the point where I couldn't hide it, and I decided to come out publicly.
So today's is a big day.
And that's what I did.
I am publicly coming out of the closet. I am queer. I'm attracted to people, period. Hey!
Hello, come in.
If I was still a pastor, what I do now would be unacceptable. I've transformed my life in some pretty shocking ways. There are days I regret being raised the way I was raised, being raised in the church and super religious, because I feel like I was denied so many experiences. It was in 2018 that I finally scheduled my first boudoir shoot. It had been something I had wanted to do for years, and it felt so beautiful and tasteful and artistic and expressive. And the more I did it, the more I wanted of that. When I started my OnlyFans, I remember being really nervous about how my people would react. So before I posted, I wrote a social media post on all my social media accounts saying, I've decided to do this thing, and here's why. I'm preparing you, so when you start seeing more sexy photos, this is why. Unfriend or unfollow me now if this is not something you want in your life. And now it's become a full-blown money-making job that I love. I've gone from being a pastor in my local church to becoming a successful adult model. Now I make between $30,000 to $100,000 a month.
How'd the shoot go?
It was so good. I loved it. That was the first time I worked with that photographer, and it was so good.
I have a similar background and upbringing to hers. I grew up in a really religious family. It was conservative.
Cheers.
Cheers. I know that there's this sensational story about Nicole as pastor turned stripper. But when you meet her and you start talking to her, you just see this amazing person that's underneath all of that. If you could go back in time and make different decisions, would you do that?
Man, that's a good question. They're happy tears.
Okay, good, because I feel like a jerk now. I'm sorry.
If I could do something differently, I would have done this years ago. So much has changed, and yet, like, deep in me, you know, the voice is like, this is just the beginning. Like, there's so much more coming my way. Oh my gosh, so much has changed for the better. A few years ago, we were broke. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't know my purpose. This would never be possible in my old life. I am so much happier than I used to be.
You know, when sometimes in life when you feel like you don't want to have to do something, but you feel deep down that it's the right thing to do, well, that's one of the reasons. I was finished with YouTube because YouTube did not want to keep my content up. I don't know how long this channel is going to be up for, to be honest. But however long I get to be up on YouTube before I get censored, maybe there's a reason for that. There's something that has to be said about, you know, abandoning God for your dreams. I've had dreams, oh yes. But they were dreams which I think even God might approve. We don't know what God has in store for us. Maybe some of us were not meant to have families or be a dad, you know, or husband.
Well, can you give us an opinion to end with to somebody, because I think the contrast is absolutely incredible, but to people who are going through whatever their dilemma is now in life and they think, I fancy trying something new. I'm not advocating they set up a members-only website, but what in general has your experience been that you would like to impart to other people?
Beautiful question, Eamon. I would say you can trust yourself, and your desires are connected to your destiny. And if you trust yourself and you follow your desires, they will lead you all the way home.
Well, Nicole, you are very, very interesting to listen to. It's an incredible story. I'm sure you're equally interesting to watch. But thank you very, very much indeed. That's Nicole Mitchell. She's from Orange County, California, and she was a pastor, and she went to the dark side and is enjoying it very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
so
Nicole.
much.
Thank you.
Like, take a look at what she's saying at the end. Take a look at what she's saying at the end. It's bad enough that she's following her own passion and abandoned God for large sums of money and attention from an OnlyFans page, but now she's preaching that tripe about the new age and the secret and following your dreams, following what you're passionate about. That's lies. That's wrong. What she's doing is wrong, and she knows it. She used to be a pastor. Now she's preaching a different gospel. You know, one that's going to mislead many, many impressionable. Good Lord.
I would say you can trust yourself, and your desires are connected to your destiny. And if you trust yourself and you follow your desires, they will lead you all the way home.
I know that this is wrong. Are other people going to speak out against this? Probably not the mainstream news. That's not their job. You know, in fact, they're praising probably this woman who's going to be misleading so many people. I mean, when it's a sad day, you know, when you see a pastor, a woman of God, leaving the faith to pursue becoming a stripper of all things, having an OnlyFans page. Okay, that's not... Might as well call it pornography, because that's what it is. And now she's even going on national TV to preach a completely different gospel than the one that she was supposed to be preaching in the first place, you know? Abandoning God and just saying, oh yeah, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, you know, what the universe will give you if you believe in it. And that's New Age. That's not of God. That's New Age. And it's satanic, you know? Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Who else said that? Oh, none other than the Black Arts Satanist Aleister Crowley. That's what they preach. And Anton LaVey. And so Anton LaVey, he was talking about following your dreams. That exact same thing. That's the exact same thing as what Anton LaVey once said. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And that's satanic. That's not even New Age. She's going out on national TV preaching an entirely different gospel than the one that she was supposed to be preaching when she herself was a pastor. She left the faith. She sold God out for money. Now she's doing God knows what on her OnlyFans page, probably porn. And, yeah, now she's telling everyone else it's okay and you can go follow your dreams, and that there's totally no consequences to abandoning God and His will and following your own pursuits and passions because of something like misguided teachings from a person who doesn't know the truth, is totally lost. But yeah, I don't know. I have to be the one to tell people about that. I'm probably gonna get hate for saying that, but that's the truth. Anyway, that's all I gotta say for now.